Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. My name is, well, I guess don't worry about it. But also, these are my tiles. You like this? This a good noise? I'm here to make ASMR for everyone because my partner listens to a lot of it and she's not here. So I thought I'd be cute. And I'd also scrape some things together. And you think what psst, 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 hey, psst, psst. I know where you are, who you are, but I think you're cool. And I hope this is, calming you down or something. I'm not trying to be funny. I've just never done this before. I'm kind of nervous. Anywho, we got these guys. And I've also generated some stories here about a bear named Bramble who seems to have reality warping superpowers. They're pretty neat stories, but I feel like this is mostly the scraping that you guys want. So you just let me know how it's going. It's Bear Bramble. It's a pretty cool bear. You know what? I think I'm just gonna read you the story. It's a good one. It's interesting. It's I don't know. It's right here. This first one is called "The Very Long Nap of the Old River." Um, One morning, Bramble went to the river and found it had stopped moving, not frozen, just still, perfectly, completely still, like a long mirror laid across the earth. The reeds weren't swaying, the little eddies by the stepping stones had gone quiet. Even the soft gurgling sound that the river always made, that low, watery mumble that Bramble had heard his whole life, was gone. A frog sitting on a flat rock looked unbothered. He said, "Is it all right?" And the frog said, "Yeah, he's just sleeping." And Bramble asked, "Rivers sleep?" And the frog said, "Well, this one does at least once a year for at least a little while. It gets tired too, all that moving." And so Bramble sat down on the bank and he looked at the still river. He could see the clouds in it, white and slow and drifting. He could see the tops of the trees and a bird crossing from one side to the other. And once, just for a moment, he was also sure he could see himself looking back. A small brown bear sitting quietly with nothing particular to do and nowhere to be. He stayed like that for a long time. The sun moved, the shadows shifted, the frog dozed off, and then, gently, so gently that Bramble wasn't sure exactly when it happened, the river began to move again. A ripple near the far bank, and then a soft return of that low, familiar murmur. The reeds nodded as if waking from a dream. Bramble smiled. "Good morning," he said to the river, though he knew it was afternoon. "So I guess this is a lazy river." Aha, aha, aha. He walked home slowly, feeling calmer than he had in a long time. And that night he fell asleep to the sound of the river moving steadily in the distance, the way it always had, and always would. Now, thank you, Bramble. Bramble is the name of my. Never mind. That was a cute one. I like that. I like how he sat perfectly still for a while and just waited for something to happen. And I guess rivers must sleep. It is a lot of moving. You know what else moves? These tiles. You get like a corner, get all these ridges. Sounds a little different. You know what else is a little different? This next story about Bramble. think it's about him going to a bakery. In any case, it's called The Bakery at the End of the Rain. It had been raining all day. Not a dramatic, stormy rain, just the quiet kind that makes the whole world go gray and soft and still. The kind that turns puddles into mirrors and makes every leaf drip in a slow, patient rhythm. Bramble had stayed inside for most of it, listening. He liked the sound of rain on the oak tree above him. It was like someone very far away was tapping their fingers gently on a table, thinking about something else. But by afternoon, he grew a little restless, so he put on his small brown coat and stepped out into it. I wonder if he has multiple coats. Does he have a black coat? Is he just a brown bear? I don't know. Anyway, the forest smelled wonderful. Wet bark and cold mud and something else, something warm and sweet drifting through the damp air from somewhere nearby. Bramble lifted his nose. Bread. Definitely bread, and maybe something with cinnamon. He followed the smell, down the winding path, past the fern hollow and the stepping stone creek until he found what he had never noticed before, a tiny bakery tucked between two mossy boulders with a yellow light in the window and a small wooden sign that just said, "Open." Inside was a hedgehog in a flour-dusted apron who didn't seem at all surprised to see him. Said, "Sit anywhere," without looking up from a rolling pin. So Bramble sat at the little table by the window and watched the rain while the hedgehog brought him, without being asked, a warm roll and a small pot of something that tasted like honey and clover and the memory of summer. He ate slowly. He watched the puddles. He listened to the rain. When the roll was gone, he felt so warm and so full and so perfectly sleepy that the walk home seemed to take no time at all. He was asleep before his head even reached the pillow. Good night, Bramble. Yeah. It's nice. He got some bread. It's a cool thing to do. Must have been good bread. Knocked him out. That or he's like diabetic or something. I don't know. Do bears get diabetes? I'm not entirely sure. You know what I am sure of? These sliding tiles. There's one. There's the other. Get some more speed here. I guess. Mine just inhaling tile dust right now. Aha. And for our finale here, we have one final Bramble story. This one's a doozy. It's called The Night the Stars Needed Sorting. It's a story about Bramble the bear. As we know, Bramble the bear lived in a round little den at the foot of an old oak tree, where the roots curved just right to make a perfect doorway and the moss grew thick and soft as a quilt. Every night before he tucked himself in, Bramble did the same thing. He poked his sleepy head outside, took one long breath of cool night air, and looked up at the sky. But tonight, something was different. The stars were in the wrong places. Bramble rubbed his eyes with both paws. He looked again. The little cluster that usually sat above the birch tree, the one that looked like a spilled jar of honey, that had drifted over to the left, and the two bright stars above the meadow that switched spots entirely. Thought Bramble. Someone ought to do something about that. The stars, they moved in the sky. That's not great. So he patted out in his softest paws. He's got multiple paws too. He can change paws and coats. It's Transformer Bear. Moving on. He patted out in his softest paws, his breath making little clouds in the cool night air, and he climbed the tallest hill he knew, the one with the flat rock at the top where the wind was always gentle. He sat down. He looked up at all the scattered, muddled stars, and then, very quietly, he began to hum. He didn't know why. It just seemed like the right thing to do, a low, warm, wandering kind of hum. The sort that doesn't go anywhere in particular but feels nice to make. And one by one, slowly, the stars began to drift back. Not all at once, gradually. The honey jar cluster floated gently rightward. The two bright meadow stars swapped back with a soft, satisfied shimmer. By the time the sky looked right again, Bramble's eyes were very, very heavy. He made his way back down the hill, back through the cool grass, back to the round little den beneath the oak tree. He curled up in his moss soft bed, pulled the quilt of leaves around him, and sighed a long, slow sigh. The stars, now sorted, glittered quietly above. Everything was as it should be. Good night, Bramble. It's a fun one. So he can wait for Rivers to wake up. And he has some sort of reality warping powers where he can make the stars move in the sky. It's kind of interesting. Pretty powerful for a bear, all things considered. Also, thank you for coming to my channel. Also, I'll be here making more videos probably. Thanks. Have a good day. Goodbye.